Nothing is easy in this industry ever. It never has been. I enjoy the challenge.
Hello.
Hi.
We've talked online and not in person. Nice to meet you in person.
Nice to meet you in person.
And you come to MJBiz with a new gig.
Yes.
Tell us.
StrainBrain.
Yes.
The AI bud tender.
I like this.
Yes. So we know that more than 50% of cannabis consumers are starting that customer journey online.
Yeah.
And if it's after hours, there is no human bud tender available, in a store. And consumers are trying to navigate these online menus that have, thousands of products and can have difficulty finding the right product for the effect that they're looking for. So StrainBrain, the AI bud tender, sits on top of and integrates with the existing e-commerce platforms like Dutchy or Jane, and prompts consumers with questions about what effect they're seeking. Why are they buying cannabis? Mm-hmm. And then using the AI algorithm, matches them to the inventory in that store.
I like it.
And gives them their three best
in that category.
top results.
Smart. And where is the data being pulled from to feed into the AI to make those recommendations?
All kinds of, some proprietary data sources, but, we're also talking, user reviews, COAs, information that the brands put out, testing data, et cetera.
One of the unbelievable insights from going to a lot of dispensaries and talking to dispensary owners, operators, managers, even bud tenders, is that what you just said is a lot of people start their cannabis buying journey online. A couple of the owners were like, and they're doing it in our parking lot.
Yes.
They're actually online, they're at the store, but online in the parking lot about to go in.
Yes.
And that to me was like, oh, that's really...
Well, so interestingly, the creators of StrainBrain are two guys, 26-year-olds, coding geniuses. And when they initially developed StrainBrain, they wanted to do a revenue attribution model. But what they figured out basically anecdotally was that people were using StrainBrain at home, in the parking lot, et cetera, and either screenshotting or printing out the results and then coming into the dispensary and saying, this is what I want. So we were losing the
attribution, for sure.
The attribution. So it is the thing. What we're hearing again and again is for a lot of consumers, the terminology in our industry is a real barrier. They really aren't quite sure even what to ask for when they walk into the dispensary. And of course, there are awesome bud tenders who know how to prompt, a new consumer and take that burden of terminology out. But, that's not always available. So when that's not available and you want some help navigating that menu, it's great. It's wonderful for the retailers because customers who use StrainBrain on average spend about 20% more than they otherwise would. They're not abandoning the shopping cart. It's a great conversion rate. So it becomes kind of a no-brainer for a retailer.
Yeah. And how long have you been on board? A couple weeks?
Couple weeks. Yeah. We closed on the acquisition 2 weeks ago.
And but also, you are not new to the industry, obviously.
I am not.
You have a long history in the industry. As long as anybody, really. But talk about sort of the background from which you came.
Yeah, so, in 2014, I was a practicing attorney in Chicago, had the good fortune to be connected by a mutual friend to Ben Kovler, the founder CEO of Green Thumb. At that point, Green Thumb was an idea on paper, and we were applying for licenses in Illinois, and I helped with that application process. We were really successful. I quit my job as a law firm partner. Took a big bet on myself and on the team and just future of cannabis. I felt like I could see it, and it was real. It felt very tangible to me. And then, good fortune to start my journey with the best team in the biz as far as I'm concerned. And so then got to scale it, to what it is today. And I left last year.
Yeah. And how has that transition been again to another career transition?
Well, it's really ironic to be back at MJBiz because when Green Thumb had applied for our first licenses in fall of 2014, a couple months later, we were at our first MJBiz. We were a couple, of knuckleheads from Illinois that nobody had ever heard of. Green Thumb, really, other than being an applicant entity, was nothing.
Right.
Nobody wanted to talk to us. We had to kind of pound the pavement and try to, have some good conversations. And then, as things progressed, I would turn my badge around if I was here because, Green Thumb was a
thing.
very big target for a lot of vendors, right? Well, now here I am back at MJBiz 10 years later, and StrainBrain doesn't. We haven't gotten the name recognition out there, so I'm kind of a little bit anonymous again and have a new story to tell.
It is the cycle of the industry too that mirrors the industry, right? It's like people you've never heard of this year become the people that people are gunning for the next year.
Yes.
And the cycle continues.
But I'm fortunate now, 10 years later, I do have a great network. I've met a lot of people over the years. I love the people in this industry. That's why I'm still in it, despite how difficult it is. Nothing is easy in this industry ever. It never has been. I enjoy the challenge.
Yeah, you don't regret leaving.
Huh?
You don't regret leaving the law firm in 2014?
Oh my gosh. I mean, my law firm friends that are still there grinding away, billable hours and all that. I mean, I feel like I escaped and, survive and thrive kind of thing.
And having fun.
Yeah, I mean,
I assume you're having fun.
Even in the earlier days where, who knew if Green Thumb, was going to succeed or not, I always felt like no matter what happens here, I'm having the adventure of a lifetime.
Yeah.
We're helping legalize weed across the country, build markets. I mean, it was a really unique vantage point to have. And, we built state by state, so you're getting to know each new state's program, the people, the legislators, the regulators. Like, it was new every time. It never got old. It was really fun.
And that exact insight about new every time, and then there's still states coming online, but seemingly, maybe it's too harsh, making the same mistakes as an Illinois or New, how do you, is there a way to sort of stop that traction?
Well, there is a new regulators association, fairly new, couple years, CANRA, and I went to their conference earlier this year, and I think that was really great to see regulators from different states talking to each other about, what will rescheduling mean? What kind of uniform standards can we get to? So I think in the early days, that conversation really wasn't happening so much, and it certainly wasn't happening in any formal way, and now I think they've formalized it. So, I think now they're trending towards a more functional next program.
Yeah, it is hard. And then we were talking to folks in Minnesota yesterday that have their own lawsuits happening. It's
yes. That one is another, fiasco right now.
Yeah.
But Illinois, when it rolled out its social equity licensing program in 2020, it was a really tough rollout. Lawsuits, delays. It looked like a complete disaster. It was a disastrous delay for a lot of the winners or applicants. But now that the state has sort of gotten through that period and issued the licenses, we are seeing tons of social equity owned dispensaries opening up. Like nothing's easy in this industry. New York has had a tough rollout. Now more are opening. Right now they're actually selling a lot of weed. They're the card applicants are opening up and some are closing too, which is bound to happen, right? That's an industry. Yeah.
I think in the moment it feels like it's taking forever. If you zoom out 5 years, it takes what it takes.
Yes. Right. I mean, so here I am, 10 years later. Right. I know I just keep saying it, but it's like nothing's easy in this industry. It's, people outside the industry don't understand that, just the basics that other businesses just can assume into their, plan, don't exist here. We have, all the additional hurdles and catastrophes. So, but it gets there. Here we are,
If you had to think of one sort of the big challenges, what is the one biggest challenge for the industry, if there is one?
Right. I mean, which would I pick? I mean, from the business perspective, the 280E issue is
it's harsh.
Really kind of can be an all or nothing in terms of the ability to survive and make a profit, right? So hopefully rescheduling happens soon and 280E goes away. That would be a game changer. The ability to list on, the major exchanges would just free up capital for everybody. It's a cash-starved industry, which is really unique and makes it that much harder. And if we could get some cash flowing into this industry, everyone wins.
Many more happier people. Yeah, not everybody.
Yeah,
but many
not
more.
everybody, but yeah.
Looking ahead, because I know you have an area of expertise as well. Looking ahead to 2025, whether it's maybe on the federal level in particular, are there big milestones that, rescheduling being one, but banking reform, other states coming online, what are the big pillars that you're looking at or milestones that could happen in 2025?
Right, so, rescheduling number one, there's talk again with Senator Schumer about Safe Banking Act. I don't think anyone at this conference is holding their breath that that's going to happen anytime soon. We've got the Farm Bill being renegotiated right now, so where that lands is going to have a massive impact on the burgeoning hemp industry, so everybody's watching that. The Minnesota rollout, I think, it's off to a very bumpy start, but, they could get it together in 2025, and it could take a good turn. I think those are the main ones. And then again, not to be a broken record, but if there was change on the federal level that allowed for companies to list on the major exchanges, that would be a game changer.
That'd be juicy, especially your former employer.
Yeah, for Green Thumb and other MSOs. I mean, I get it. If you're, a solo store operator, smaller, this isn't relevant to you. But I think there is a trickle-down effect in the industry where, the rising tide lifts all boats.
Yeah, and 280 even for a mom and pop operator is a big deal.
Helping people get their bills paid in this industry. I mean, there's a lot of debt, a lot of unpaid invoices that's hurting everybody. So if everyone has a little more cash in their pocket,
it can't be bad.
Can't be bad.
It cannot be
bad.
bad.
So I'm hopeful for that for everybody in 2025.
And thinking about 2025 for StrainBrain in particular, like what are the sort of key milestones? Is it numbers of retailers you're working with? Is it new markets? Is it?
It's all of it, right?
Yes.
It's the typical. We're scaling, a software program here. Let's get into as many dispensaries as we can. Let's work with as many brands as we can in as many states as we can. Like, let's go. So
pedal to the metal.
Yes.
I like
exactly.
it. I like it, Dina. Thank you for making time today.
Oh, thanks for having me.
You got it.